Communication is the Wi Fi of all relationships. When communication is weak, everything disconnects. Welcome to today's conversation where we talk about 4 C's: communication, confidence, charisma, and career pivot. I'm super excited to have with us Kavya R Chavali, who's a powerhouse of presence and entrepreneurship. Beyond the microphone, Kavya is a serial entrepreneur. She's the co founder of Kalaneka, a sister led brand that brings handloom Upada weaves to the global CEO club. She's also the founder of Stage 2 Success, where she deconstructs the science of charisma. Today, we are diving into how she scales heritage, leads through sisterhood, and turns her personal voice into a global business. All right. I'm super delighted to have you on the show, Kavya.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aparna. Thank you, firstly, for having me on board. And I've been a massive follower of what you do, what Shobhitam does. And for you to come up with such kind of a concept to keep the conversations coming, I must say thank you indeed.
Thank you. Likewise, the admiration is mutual. All right, Kavya. So you carry the NIT tag, a gold standard for intellectual authority in India. Yet you've built your empire on the power of your voice. And you have such a commanding voice. It really makes a difference. So tell me a little bit about communication. Why do you think communication is important? And as a follow up, people who don't have that skill innately, how do they go about it?
Oh, lovely. I love that question, firstly, because ideally, what happens now, Aparna, in the life that we are in, even in today's era, we are surrounded by AI and tech. You go to any of these think tanks, people will talk about how AI and tech is taking over the world. The only differentiating factor will be communication. That will differentiate what level you're going to be at, what level you will be working at, or who you plan to be. Now, communication, a lot of people think it's all about language. Do I speak good English? Do I speak good Hindi? But communication was never about languages, because language is just a medium. Communication was about just me able to take my idea, articulate it well, and share it with the audience. So, first up, even for me to join NIT Warangal, the best part was I had such a killer college. I had such an amazing college, amazing profs who also realized I enjoyed the mic way more than working on the circuits, rather. So I got a bit of leeway there, but I always wanted to be an anchor. So you may be good at maths, physics, chemistry. That's great. That's a foundation part. But for me, I knew eventually after engineering, after working with HCL, I would take up something to do with the mic. So in my case, I knew it would be organic from within, but the opportunities were, I would say, lesser outside. It took me time to explore, but today is a really good time to use the power of your voice to empower people. So for me, that's how it worked out. Now, in case somebody wants to start off in that arena, I think the most basic thing to do focus on is not just about, do I sound good? The main thing is, listen to yourself. You have the best of the iPhones around. Just take a voice memo, share a story, share a quote, and say, how do I sound? Does my sound inspire people? Does it impact people? The device is in your hands. It's just that you're so busy seeing other stories that you're not able to write your own story. So I would just say, anybody who's starting over in this world of communication, listen to your voice first. And then, of course, there are ways to modulate. There are ways to, sort of vocal exercise. I'll go to the gym and work out. I can do the same with my vocal cords, right? If you can do that, I'm not kidding you when I say this, Aparna, you can command a higher level pay in a corporate. You can become the CX of your dreams that you always wanted to do. Whatever it is, your voice can make you probably have 10 careers as opposed to just one that you limited yourself. So I am a massive, passionate believer of the fact that you can use the power of your voice to empower others. So yeah, I'm with you on this, and I'm glad you focused on the communication bit.
Like they say, your technical skills can get you to a job interview, but it's the communication that actually gets you the job.
Absolutely. Very well said.
All right. So before the stages of Dubai and Mumbai, you were the prime time newsline anchor in Bengaluru. In the newsroom, things go wrong in real time. And you famously turned technical disasters like LED screens going dark into a joke about technology awards.
Right.
What is one specific skill from that high pressure newsroom that became your shield when you transitioned into being a live event host for Fortune 500 companies?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because when you're a live host, things cannot go wrong.
Yeah. I often say this, live events, it's like life, there are no retakes. But in a studio setup, unless I'm doing primetime anchoring, in a studio setup, I can always retake it. So you're right about it. But that's an interesting question. I think that's the first time somebody asked me, what was my learning from newsroom to live events? And I'll tell you one thing is, I would say, using communication for relationship building.
Okay.
Now, in a newsroom, what happens is, let's say my audience is someone I can't see, especially when I'm doing primetime anchoring. But oftentimes I will have guests with whom I do a tete-a-tete, just like you're doing one with me right now. What am I doing to use again my voice, my articulation to build that relationship with the audience? When I move to live event, my audience can be 315 number or 35,000. What am I doing to build that connect? So in the end, connection building will always be the most common thing. And one thing that I learned in the newsroom is that when I decide to wear the mic or hold the mic, I am not looking at spotlight. I'm looking at connection.
Okay.
So that's the learning for me at the newsroom. And that same learning allowed me to take up live events seamlessly and go around 18 countries and do just with the fact that for those 5 minutes, can I build a connection? Can I build a connection with the audience, the invisible audience for me? Can I build a connection with the live audience as well? Use, again, take the mic to build a connection, spotlight will follow. So yeah, that was a big learning.
Lovely. So when you're doing these live events, does audience reaction typically distract you?
Oh.
It could be one way or the other.
Yeah. So I'll probably share one of my favorite rules that I often use is the rule of thirds.
Okay.
So this would happen, why? Because when you're on stage, there are some people who are eagerly listening to you. Then there are some people who are on the phone because they got a mail. Not that they don't like you, but they got a mail. And oftentimes you're talking something and you're like, hey, I'm doing fine, but why isn't that person listening to me, right?
Correct.
So what I would do is apply the rule of thirds, wherein 30% of the audience are my fans.
Okay.
I'm not even come to the stage. They're my fans because maybe I'm wearing something nice. I got a good smile. I sound good. They're my fans. That's it. The other 30% for me will always be on the fence. They're on the other side. They're on this side. So I will do my best to bring that 30% in my arena. The other 30%, they don't care about me. So I will not care about them.
Lovely.
Oftentimes what happens is when we're presenting, talking, we end up focusing on the last 30%. My point oftentimes whenever I mentor is the fact that you already have 30 in your arena. Let's try bringing the other 30. So 60% will love you no matter what. And I think that's a big win than focusing on the 100%. So I started applying that technique right at the start. And that's when I became comfortable with the eyeballs that were staring at me, or the lack of it, if I will put it.
Okay, we're going to get to your career pivot. But before that, let's say, you just talked about the audience. Maybe they're not engaging, or maybe they really have something genuinely that they are attending to. How do you actually pivot that? How do you actually engage with that audience to have them engage into what you're saying?
Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me actually put a live case scenario here.
Be something between two people, right?
Absolutely. So let me assume the fact that you and I, let's say we are on a stage and we are discussing or having a fireside chat. And it's an event for Shobhitam. Let's assume like that. So let me put a live case scenario right away. We're having a conversation. And just when I'm talking to you and asking you some questions, I look at the audience and all of them are probably, not all, at least most of them are probably busy on the phone. I think the first thing I'm going to say is, hey, Aparna, I think that was a wonderful point. And I can see that some of you are on the phones, but if you're on the phone, then don't forget to use the hashtag Shobhitam.
Oh, lovely.
Tweet about the event using the hashtag Shobhitam. That's it.
Immediately gets their attention.
That's the best thing I can do.
Lovely.
I'm not going to say stop looking at your phones. I'm going to make it about the event and about the audience.
Lovely.
And I think that really helps, is my thought.
Lovely. A lot of people struggle with communication. So if there were three things, that you think are very effective, what would they be?
Okay. So let me try to split that in terms of first, your voice quality.
Okay.
Because I've noticed one thing for sure is when people say,
and you have an amazing voice quality.
Thank you so much. So the reason why voice quality will be important is because before people have understood you, they first listen to you, right? So let me split it in terms of first up, communication. I'll break it first in voice quality. Even when you wake up in the morning, the ancient methodology is what we do, gargling, right? We end up doing gargling of the water of our throat only when we are unwell.
Correct.
Why are you not doing it on a regular basis? Because here's what happens. When you start gargling, you're actually moistening those vocal cords. And then in the morning is when they start becoming heavy. So start practicing by just gargling. Start improving your voice quality. Simple technique, simple hack. Start improving your voice quality. That's number one. So I broke that down into first part, voice quality. Gargle, do om chant or do any chant or just sing a song. Sing a
Okay.
song in the bathroom. It's a very good hack, by the way, to improve the voice. That's
Okay.
the first part.
Okay.
And the second part will always be with regard to communication is, what is your story?
Mm-hmm.
So you've come to communicate something to me. You come
Mhm.
to probably take the time of the audience, let's say 5 minutes. What's your story? What's your content? So the most important crux, like a sandwich, I would call it, is the content. I I may say this, Aparna, but it doesn't matter. You may have great voice, you may have a great personality, but if you don't have anything meaningful to share, you wasted my 5 minutes. I wasted your 5 minutes.
Correct.
So content. Why am I listening to you? So your why has to be very strong.
Mm.
Why are you saying what you're saying? So
Mhm.
why? The content.
Mm.
And the third part, of course, is just going to be one thing, is that whenever we have an opportunity to speak, Aparna, even with a podcast like this,
Mhm.
we're trying to put spotlight on the topic.
Correct.
You and I will come after it.
Mm.
The spotlight is actually your audience. Your audience will always be the reason why the business does well, why the designs do well, why the content does well, why even as leaders we start rising.
Mm.
It's the audience that has to accept you, so do it for the audience.
Mm.
In turn, you'll end up doing it for yourself. So help the audience help you.
Lovely.
That applies to communication as well.
Lovely. Lovely. Now let's talk about the confidence part,
Mm.
right? Oftentimes, you may not be there in terms of skill, talent, whatever, but your confidence will take you through it. So, has confidence always been an integral part of you, or is it something that has evolved over time?
You know, I'm going to give you a fun fact.
Mm.
I would have probably been the most underconfident person in the room.
When was
And
this?
I've been this for 25 years.
Okay.
It's just that I suddenly realized, hey, I think I have a good voice. Let me mask my underconfidence with my voice. So it became like a very interesting facade for me, because I always believed confidence is under construction like our Indian roads
Mm.
every day.
Mm.
Because today I woke up
Very
confidently.
nice analogy.
Yeah,
Mm.
think of it. Today I'm having a great day. I feel confident. But tomorrow something might go, like it might just shatter me, and my confidence will dip.
Mm.
It's okay to ensure your confidence goes like a sine curve. It is okay. Because what happens is the world says you've got to be a confident speaker, you've got to be an assertive speaker, you've got to be, it's good to be that, but it's good to accept that there are days where I may be underconfident. And what do I do then? Which is when we have a triangle called KSA, the knowledge, skills, and attitude. Now, let me bring that to communication again, or to presentation.
Mm.
There are days that it's not in your favor. You've probably had a bad breakfast, a bad gut, and you're like, oh my God, I've got a presentation to do. Okay, I've got to be at, let's say, Startup Singam, for example. You've got to present there, or you've got to share your thoughts. But at that moment, for example, if I build the triangle called KSA, knowledge, skills, attitude. Now, let me bring the fact that if I am someone who's here purely from a content point of view, let's say I'm in a pharma industry event and I am here because I know pharma well, my knowledge wins. But let's say if I'm here, we're talking about sarees. It's a skill to know about our weavers, right? The skill wins. But that day, knowledge and skill have gone on a vacation. It's going to be my attitude. That is the day when I say, Kavya, you have no other choice. Buck up, just do your best. Let's give the shot and let's make the audience happy. That's when attitude comes. So I try to build it within these three angles, so that I know, hey, I've got 40% of this sorted. I've got, I mean, a bit of math will happen. I've got 60% of this sorted. I think I'm good. Let's give the a shot. I'm not kidding you when I say this. I was at an event and I was wondering, why am I even here? Why am I even hosting? I had two of the biggest leaders of the world for whom I was hosting a show. And I just flew in from Cape Town and they said, Kavya, we need you. And I reached and I'm like, who are my guests? And I'm like, these two are the guests? Okay, what am I even doing here? Why am I needed? They're like, no, Kavya, we need you. It took me 30 minutes to convince myself, what am I doing when these two are here? And when I tell you the biggest names in the face of earth, or you know who I'm talking about, it took me 30 minutes and I realized, wait a minute, we're talking about global economics. I've just come, have only 5 minutes. My understanding of global economics is around this particular sector. Do I have a full hand knowledge? I don't. Okay, let's see. Can I bring in some skill? No. Kavya, you were brought here because when you have two of the biggest leaders, they need the biggest voice. Kavya, now let's go on stage. I had to back up that way. That was attitude doing the talking. So this is something I wanted to share.
Lovely. That's actually very, very inspiring. There are so many times when we have these, incidents where you're right. One aspect is there, the other two are not there, but we focus on the two that are missing,
Absolutely.
right? And that pulls us down. Okay, I love your approach of actually thinking that, okay, I have this one thing, I'm going to amplify using that.
Absolutely.
Lovely, lovely. So now let's talk about the third C, charisma. All right. So you are the founder of Stage to Success. Let's demystify charisma here. what is charisma according to you? And if somebody feels that they're not charismatic, what do they do?
Wow, I love this again. I love your questions, Aparna. All right.
Because a lot of us, we don't know where to start with, or we tend to doubt ourselves more.
Yeah. I think so. Let me just look at the term charisma, for
Mm,
example.
mm,
Charisma is presence.
okay.
It's just presence.
Mm,
Now, it can become presence of mind
okay. Interesting. I've never thought of that. Okay.
to handle a scenario that was not in your favor and you just made it.
Okay.
That is presence of mind. So let me start with presence.
Okay.
Presence of mind.
Uh-huh.
Presence can come into body language as well. So
Okay,
these
yes.
two angles to me. I feel charisma to me is a good amalgamation of body language. Now, where does body language come from? It comes from me knowing who I am or how I'd like to be perceived by
Correct.
the audience, right?
Correct.
For example, right now, you and I were sitting over here on this beautiful sofa of yours,
you.
right? Now, I decided to cross my leg and sit and talk to you like this.
Mm.
You decided to sit in a particular angle and talk.
Mm.
Your avatar, for example, looks very charismatic to me, and maybe you might like my avatar as well.
Likewise, yes.
But you chose that angle because you're comfortable in that angle.
Mhm.
I chose this angle because I'm comfortable in this. So, one, you know who you are. I, in these years, decided to know who I am. So, one is presence, and coming from presence of mind. Now, presence of mind is important because there are times when things don't go your way. You cannot lose your body language. You cannot lose your cool. Losing your cool is equal to losing your body language, by the way. Because when you lose your cool, everything goes flustered, right? Having the presence of mind to say, oh, right, this is not in my control. Oh, wow, I've got a 1,000-member audience. How do I deal with this? Oh, wow, I've got investors sitting over here and my pitch deck is not ready, but I need to ensure that my numbers are in my mind. This is my confident persona. How do I project? So if we can just demystify these smaller terms, charisma becomes a natural part of who you are. And I think charisma was supposed to be first internal, so that the opposite person, like me, I would say, Aparna, you know what? I love how you sound. I love how you speak. That's my perception of you because internally that's who you are. So all these elements, if I jot it down, it boils down to one word: presence. Just your presence. This trunk here is very charismatic to me. Look at its presence. Seated right there in center, the brass work, the woodwork, the mere presence is what charisma is.
Okay. And some people have a much stronger presence than other people. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like, for example, there's Sushmita Sen. You know, when she speaks, the world listens.
True.
For example, there's CNBC managing editor Shireen Bhan, who I admire a lot.
I love her.
She has the ability to ask the right questions. What's her presence doing? Listening. Her presence is absorbing what the audience has to say, what the opposite speaker has to say, and then she's molding those questions and giving it back. So presence can be everything, but it boils down to just presence.
Okay, I never thought about the presence of mind angle, so that's very interesting. It is true. It is true. All right. So let's talk about the fourth C, the career pivot.
Okay.
So you and your sister Ramya share a very similar story with Ambika and I starting Shobhitam. We came from a tech background and then we started Shobhitam because we always had this passion for fashion. So how did it actually feel like coming from a world of logic to a world of everything soulful? And how much of the logic did you actually incorporate into Kalanika?
Oh, lovely, lovely. And I think you will also associate so well with this question. It's just that I do feel that earlier when we started Kalanika, this was, of course, way back 2014, the world of logic was always creative. We decided to bucket it as logic, matlab, your brain can only think unidimensionally, right? But I think anyone who comes with sound logic, which is why if you notice in India as well, maximum number of engineers are the ones who do everything except engineering. Now, I'm not taking that as a compliment. It is a beautiful compliment. That means you have the ability to problem solve. Now, as an entrepreneur yourself, Aparna, you are an entrepreneur because you have the ability to solve a problem. You want to empower the handloom clusters of India because you see that there's a problem. How can I make it better? Now, that engineering brain of yours is actually helping you do so much better for the country. So that logical brain was always problem solving, which is what entrepreneurship needed, which is what every creative artist brings ideally. We, of course, in our due course of conversations across the years, we decided to bucket them कि logical brain यही कर सकता है, creative brain लेकिन acting कर सकता है. Creative brain can go into Bollywood, but logical. But see a lot of engineers who are actually actors, like Vicky Kaushal for that matter. Now, in our case, it so happened that creative outlet was always a part of it because Ramya and I are kuchipudi dancers. We've always had a creative outlet. You're a dancer, I've been told, right? Or a singer. No?
Neither.
See, now even better. Even better. Imagine that.
Huh.
Now, if not even having a specific creative outlet,
Mm.
you're in the world of creativity and
Mm.
colors. So I think
But I
that's
love all things artsy.
that's what.
Mm.
Now that is your eye for art.
Mm.
In our case, because of Kuchipudi dance,
Mm.
dance and art of expression became a constant thing in our life, which is why Stage to Success as a company works,
Mm.
Kalanika as a company works.
Mm.
Now, both of us, we were doing incredibly well. Ramya was with Reliance Industries. I was massively traveling, hosting shows. But every time I would wear sarees for my shows,
Mhm.
people would come and say, where did you get the sari? How do you drape it? Oh my God, which? And I would always talk about the clusters and people would be unaware. We said, okay, you know what? Let's talk about Upada because that's where we are from. We'd love to put it on the handloom map. Now, it became easy for us to do, but I'll be honest, numbers is a different game now.
True.
You know, when it comes to business, I'll put that logic, creativity aside. Numbers will always be a different game, and one has to be particular about it. In our case, both Ramya and I have a creative outlet. So we needed somebody else to handle our numbers. We did. But the art of expression allowed us to explore more, work more with weavers, design different sarees. And I think it was a natural, organic thing that came about. It was organic. It was meant to always be organic. Like I knew that something like this was happening, and plus, we, you know, our mothers are our OG sari influencers.
Very true.
Right?
Very
so what
true.
do you do next? You're like, Mama, I love your sari, but chalo, isko leke, let's do something. So I think it became very natural for us to
And I
get
love
into that.
the way you've actually draped the sari, brought the best of what the sari has.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I can see that creativity element. What is your advice for the woman who feels that she's too deep in her career but wants to start over?
Wow. You know what? This is the need of the hour question that you asked. Because we're actually surrounded by a lot of women who now say that, you know what, I want to do something that really matters to me more. And here's the thing, I love the 9 to 5. We need the 9 to 5 guys to fund the freelancers, the solopreneurs. We need them. But at one point does come a time where you say, you know, I've done something for an organization. I have developed my skills. Now I want to do something for myself. So I love the question. We've had a lot of people who have come to us for a career pivot at Stage to Success. And the one advice that I've given, even the anchors and MCs who would come to me, I would say, you know, here's one thing you've got to do. Passion is great. But if passion doesn't make you money, it's not worth it. So whatever you're planning to do, let's say you're planning to open a small sari business at home. Let's say you want to become an MC or an anchor. Whatever you do, I would clearly tell them, practical advice, 6 months. For 6 months, do you have your corpus ready? Things go haywire, you're not getting projects, you're not getting paid, your things are not getting sold, your artwork is not getting sold. 6 months, can you have the same lifestyle that you built and can you manage it? If you can, that's when you quit. You do not quit and start. Keep yourself ready because Darwin says survival of the fittest, millennial theory, survival of the readiest. You've got to be ready. Opportunity will come. You've got to be ready.
Lovely.
But if that corpus is not there, you'll get the first opportunity and say, yeah, I cracked it. I'm feeling awesome. Now I feel confident. Next 5 months, nothing's going to happen. What are you going to do? So it's good to be practical in an era like this. One, keep a corpus of 6 months. Continue trying, continue reaching out as much because competition is fierce now. Start reaching out to as many
communication.
Again. And don't cold email saying, hi, I'm an influencer and I want to wear your sarees. You do not do that. If I want to wear Shobhitam, I'm going to say, hi team Shobhitam, I am driven by the fact that you're empowering the handloom clusters of India. I'd love to be the voice of that. Can we collaborate? I'm sure then you will
make that connection.
Yeah, you will make that connection, right? So your cold email should not be cold. It should be a value email.
Value email. Love that.
Right? So that's the next step. You've got to write to people. You've got to be okay with rejections. Why? Half the time people don't have time. People have missed out. It's gone into spam. Anything but you are the problem. So continue that. 6 months, this is your agenda. Anyone who wants to make a career pivot, I would say 6 months, make an agenda, make a corpus, do your value emails, be okay with rejections because they're not about you. They're about the fact that the opposite person doesn't have time. Number 3. And number 4, be critical with yourself. You've got to know if you're really good at this. Or it's just that, oh, I want to be an anchor because you know what? People are wearing nice designer clothes. I've been told this. I've been told by girls who are like, Kavya, I want to be an anchor like you because you get to wear designer clothes. I'm like, for that, there's Miss India. You've got to be in Miss India, not an anchor because both are different things. And I love the Miss Indias. I love that because, hey, you're representing the country. You've got to be there. You're getting confused. So know yourself. Be very critical about yourself, not in a way that puts you down, but about being practical. Okay, hey, I've got a good voice. Is it worth it? Voiceovers, all of this. I think 6 months is your game plan. That 6 months will take care of your next 6 years. Will take care of the future. That's what I believe.
Lovely, lovely. That was a wonderful takeaway that I'll summarize. What's the boldest thing that Kavya's done?
Pack my bags and go to Mumbai and give emceeing and anchoring a try.
When was this?
So this was after I was with TV9 as a news anchor, right? News 9. 2009, I took a break. In fact, I've taken 3 breaks in my life, Aparna.
Okay.
That was at a time when you're not supposed to take breaks. My dad.
Were you doing those 6 month?
I was doing a 3-month pivot.
Okay.
So 3 months ke liye, I was like, no, this is not working. I want to do something better in life. And my father, of course, the naval military officer, is like, beta, this does not look good in your resume. And I'm like, Dad, believe me, I know something good will come out. So for me, I think the boldest decision was to tell my dad and mom, who were in Kakinada, in Andhra, saying that, Dad, and I was in Bangalore that time. I just told them, Dad, I believe that this is my path. Give me time. And I know I'll do well. I took a year, not 6 months, I took a year.
Okay.
But I didn't give up. So pack my bags, go to Mumbai, start off with a PG, then move to a nice place. All of that journey happened within a year. I think that was a bold decision. And that took care of
your confidence and your willingness paid off.
Yes,
right?
Yes, absolutely. I think the curiosity, right? कि यार कुछ तो है on the other side जो मुझे करना है. Like I want to try it at least. I don't want to sit here and say I wish I had. So I think the boldest move was packing bags and going to Mumbai.
Any regrets?
My regret, I'll be honest. My regret was the fact that I didn't join the Indian Navy.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
No connection whatsoever. But I'll tell you why. Because my first dream was to become the first woman chief of naval staff.
Oh wow, that's very ambitious.
Very. Until my dad said, "Beta, you're very creative. Don't do this. Just get into the creative field." So I know I could have done short service commission. I could have enjoyed the life of a Navy as an officer because I've been a Navy kid. But I always wanted. So I won't call it a regret. But I always keep pulling my dad's leg, saying, "Dad, I could have done that and still done this." But I could have had the best of both worlds. So I won't call it a regret, but it's always at the back of my mind.
1,400 plus events.
Yeah.
What's that one event that you really feel so proud about?
Ooh.
I'm sure there are many, but one.
So I'll give you 2. One from the scale of the event, and second from the speaker who came and complimented my work. So this one I would say opening the show for RRR movie.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
We had a magnum opus that was directed by Rajamouli Garu himself in Bombay. We had these 100 feet cutouts of Junior NTR and Ram Charan. And then we had the audience come in from all parts of Andhra and Telangana. And I was opening the show in English, Hindi and Telugu. And then, of course, Karan Johar also followed suit. Kubra, my friend, was also there. And just the sheer scale of the event and to have the opportunity to open it in your mother tongue. Oh, besides English and Hindi, I was like, then there's Keeravani Garu as well, and RRR goes on to win the Oscars for that matter. The scale of it was something, and then I saw how Rajamouli Garu was actually directing that entire event. The precision, the passion, and man, they are 100% invested. For me, that was a learning. So for me, scale-wise that, but in terms of a speaker, when I had the golden opportunity of having Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he was my guest. And the fact that I could see him in person, hear him in person, and he comes to me and he says, Kavya, I know what you're doing is not easy, and you're doing amazing job. By the way, you have a lovely voice. I said, that's it. That's it.
Coming from him.
Coming from him, I said, I think I'm in the right space. So one is from the scale and one is from the
lovely
kind of person.
Lovely. And finally, our signature question. You're a bold woman, right? You've chased dreams, made them happen. What does Naarishakti mean to you?
First up, I actually love this term because on one hand, it's thought to be very obvious, but it's not. It has such gravitas, the term. I'll do one thing. Let me just encapsulate the essence of Naarishakti, how I perceive it. For me, Naarishakti is actually Saraswati, the thought, Lakshmi, the abundance, and Mahakali, the destruction. So we look at Naarishakti not as a contradiction, but as completeness, completion. For me, Naarishakti is completion because the word itself has such cosmic energy that it does not request you to be powerful. It is the very reason why you're powerful.
Lovely.
That is Naarishakti. And you and I, women, we were inherently born with it. Years ago, people had to request or take permission to be powerful. Now I think we're all exercising it. That's when now Naarishakti, the term and the podcast, is way more relevant than ever before.
I like that. That we don't have to seek permission. It's there in us. We just have to channel it.
Absolutely. I came across this beautiful quote when I was hosting shows, and it says, "A woman on a mission needs no permission."
Oh, lovely. Lovely. Couldn't have ended it on a better note. Kavya, it was absolutely wonderful hosting. It was so full of energy. You're so lively, and it was just amazing. This is one of the shows that I'll remember for a long, long time. The biggest takeaway that I took was when you said, Darwin's theory was survival of the fittest, but the new theory is survival of the one who's ready, right? And that really, really motivates me. So I really hope that you all loved watching this show. You were inspired. Please do leave us a comment, like us, and tell us what you found best in today's show. Until next time, it's me, Aparna, signing off. We'll be back with another Nari with her story.